Merry Christmas. Welcome back to the shop. Got a little bit of a special one that I want to do really quick. Sorry if I'm getting out of frame, but I'm trying to get ready for this because I want to do this and not have it take an hour. Got a Auburn Tools jack plane. Right here, I was planing deck joist today on a job, and it's dirty job site. Sandy, gritty, dirty, walking over the joists, and it wiped the iron really quick. Sorry about all the stuff on the bench. Kate's making some Christmas presents. Damaged the iron. Took a bunch of big dings out of it. I'll show you an up close in a second, but this is 1800s plane, late 1800s. I don't know if you can see from the light, and I'll show you that a close up in a minute here, but it's all got scratches all over it. There's sand all over the place. I did my best to wipe off the deck joists, but I damaged the iron, and I'm going to repair it. I'm going to show you how to repair it. Do this all real time. Try not to mess around here. So this is a laminated iron, tapered, very, very hard. It's a beautiful tool. It works terrific. I'm taking this out on a job, and I'm planing pressure treated joists down, getting ready to do the deck top. But I'm going to give you a close up. Let me get you in here. As you can see, the shop's kind of a mess here. Kate's making a bunch of cutting boards. Sorry for moving the camera. And they're going to have nut trays in them, and they're going to be puzzle pieces that go together into a cutting board that you can do in multiple different arrangements. And they are white oak. They have some mahogany, some teak in them. There's going to be like 4 pieces. So she's gluing up the blanks, and she's taking up the shop here. But anyway, I'm going to show you how easy this is. So here's the iron. You can see it's been ground before, and you can see the chips out of it, right? Right along the top here. It's pretty good chips out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those chips out, and I'm going to sharpen this. I'm going to do it in real time, show you how to repair an iron. Hopefully that's showing up good. Hopefully I get in focus. Get it in close here. So you can see how bad this iron got beat. But plane does not go away into the till before it's sharp. And this hardened iron would take quite a while to just sharpen that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind it, and I'm going to show you how to grind it. Now I have a grinder set up. This is going to get long. With a CBM wheel and a coarse wheel on this side and a tool rest. I'm going to use that. Also, I'm going to show you that you can just do it. This is a cheapo Harbor Freight grinder over here. I will actually do some of this on that just to show you that it's pretty simple. Now, just to look down, I kind of got crap in my way here, so I'm going to be kind of reaching in there just to show you how easy it is. But I'm going to grind down the edge of this first. So I'm just going to, wow, this thing's moving. Just going to get you right here. I'm going to yank the grinder set up here on the bench. Sorry, scared myself all over the place here. Just walked in the door. Figured this would be a good video. Again, this channel is about education, so I don't really care if you don't like the cinematography. Now, I made this setup out of an old, hopefully it's not on, nope, out of an old grinder see what your view looks like here. So this is an old General grinder. Basically all it is an arbor through a couple of bearings. And then I added the Wolverine setup for my lathe tools, which has a nice tool rest. And I bought that. Well, that Craftsman motor probably came off one of my machines outside that I upgraded to a better motor. And this is a 1/3 of a horsepower Craftsman. You can pick them up pretty cheap on eBay. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to see what the bevel angle is on this iron so that I can do some of it freehand. One thing that I want to get across is this bevel angle means nothing as long as it's less than 40 and say more than 25. All it is a clearance angle. So I'm gonna take this out of the camera frame for a second just so I can see. So I can't really see, I can't do both at once. So, moved it. So this is 25 right now. Good general purpose angle. It's not the most durable angle, which is probably why this iron came apart so bad in the grip that was on the pressure treated. So let me grab a Sharpie. I'm going to show you so you can see the grinder, and I'll try to illustrate as much as what I'm trying to do here. So if I wanted to grind this iron right now to keep the 25-degree angle, I want my grind hitting right across in the middle here. Now I'm going to paint up the bevel just so I can see where the grinder's hitting. But I think I'd like to take this over closer to 30, give it a little bit more durable angle on it. Like I said, this angle means nothing. It means 0. So that's what I'm going to use when I set up my grinder, and I'll do some of it freehand just to show you how easy it is. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chips out. So you can see the chips on there. The first thing I'm going to do is take the chips out at 0. That's the first step. So we're going to get this tool rest set down to 0. Since I'm on the CBN side, I'll just take it out on the CBN side. I should probably go a little closer. So just, about 0. It doesn't need to be exactly 0. All I'm going to do is go straight across and try to grind those chips out square. You can see on the back side, you can see how deep they go. I hope. Yeah. You can see how deep they go there. So I'm going to grind these until I have a nice square edge across here. Now you can take a square out and make sure you square. Probably do that for illustration purposes. But let's go at it here. I'm not going to clamp this down. I'm just going to do this. So first thing we're going to just grind past the All right, so I just ground past the chips. So now I have a flat edge on here, right? Nice clean flat edge all the way across. You can see now there's no chips. It doesn't really matter if there are any slight chips in the top, but that is a nice, clean, flat grind. Let's see if it's square. I don't know if the sides of this, this is a pretty old iron. So it's close. It's fairly square just with what I just did. So we'll keep that. That's good. Now, for the sake of showing you the right way to do it, I'm going to move the tool rest over. I could do this whole thing on the CBM wheel, which really does a good job of keeping the heat down, but most of you are not going to have a CBM wheel. So let's just do it. This is just a coarse stone. And then to show you how easy it is, I'll go over to the Harbor Freight one in a second and just do it freehand. Actually, maybe I'll just do it freehand right here. Hopefully this thing will stay still. First thing we're going to do is we're going to set the bevel angle. Get in a little closer. All right, so we're going to see where that's hitting first. Hold it flat on the tool rest. So this is where it's hitting right now. It's hitting a little high, which would make this angle less than 25 or closer to 22-20. So we're going to knock this tool rest down a little bit. I'll pick a clean spot. We'll check it there, see what it will look like now. Okay, now we went a little too far. Now we're just grinding straight out on the edge. That would bring it closer to 30, probably 35. The fiddling takes a second here. It's actually easier freehand, to be honest with you guys. So that's starting to creep up, hitting here now. We're going to go, we want to go up a little bit. Try it one more time. We might be a teeny bit low. I'm going to blue this again really fast. Sorry that, like I said, I want to do this in real time so you can see what it takes. I want a good representation of where it's sitting in the middle. All right, so now it's a little bit too low. Kind of going back and forth here. All right, so now it's hitting right dead in the middle. You see that middle stripe? So this will grind it pretty much at 25 if I go with this. You just see it's a shade more towards the edge. So this should take it between 25 and 30 somewhere. So let's throw this on. I'm going to grind it for a second here. Show you that this is not going to heat up and destroy the iron. You see what the grind looks like as I go. You can see that it's grinding more towards the edge than it is the top, so I'm increasing the angle more towards 30. Also, this shiny line right here, you want to probably blue that up, because what we're going to do is we're going to grind this until we can barely see that blue anymore. So I blued up that flat spot. We're going to grind this until that flat spot's almost gone. The more you grind it, the less time it's going to take on the stones. I don't need a thing of water here. I'm not pushing very hard, just going straight back and straight across. Show you my progress. That's where I'm at right now. That's how much I have to go. It looks like it's grinding nice and even, that flat spot's nice and even all the way across. Which means I'm staying pretty square. Keeping my bare fingers right on it so I'm not going to overheat the iron. You try and be careful. I don't know if you heard what I just did, but it's just getting crooked on the way out. You don't want to do that really. So you can see I still have a little, I'll try to get the light, a little bit of a flat spot on the top. Just trying to get rid of that. As soon as I get rid of that, then I can go to the stones. And this is not hot. See how I'm holding it. I didn't dress the stone, not doing anything special. Now if I dress the stone, this would be cutting faster. If I use the CBM wheel, it'll be cutting cooler. So that's where I'm at now. It's getting close to, that line's still there, but it's almost gone. I am getting sparks across the top, so, you know, it's grinding right along the edge. And again, this is not hot. See how I'm holding it? It's not hot. There's still a teeny bit of line up there. Probably a 64th of an inch or so. Now, you can see I have probably 128 or so to go. Now guys, you can do this by hand. All right, I can go ahead and squeeze into this bevel. And grind it by hand. You can see I didn't really mess anything up there. If anything, you know, I took a little bit too close to the edge, but I'm not messing anything up. This is just a clearance angle. It's all this is so that the back side of this doesn't hit the wood when you're planing. You go ahead and just starting to get a little warm, but I'm still holding it in my hands here, guys. All right? I mean, it's not hot. See what we got left for. Hopefully I'm getting you some good shots here. What we got left for a line there. It's not very much. Almost gone. So let's do this. I'm going to finish it up over here just to show you that, you know, I don't know if I get you a good view. Let's It's going to be a tough view. Hold on, let me drop you down. I'm going to drop you down. Okay. I'm going to finish it up on this other grinder. I'm going to kind of corner myself in here, but I want to pick the coarse wheel. This one's just sitting here. So I'm going to find my bevel angle, get myself a place for my fingers to rest, which now I have. This is not a special grind or anything. This wheel's actually cutting a little better than the other one. I can still see a blue line. I'm going to keep going. You see it's not hot at all. I'm holding on to it. There's barely a line left on here. I'm almost to the edge. Now what I'm doing is I'm coming into contact with the heel here and then rocking it down until I start to see sparks. All right, so my line's pretty much gone now. I did end up grinding a little bit more towards the edge there, but that's going to come out on the stones. So let's go to the stones. Let's sharpen this thing. Let me get you a good view over here. I could walk around the shop, find a place where you can watch. You can see that the iron didn't heat up, didn't get too hot. So do I want to raise this up? Stuff going to be in the way. This is probably a better view. I'm going to leave you right here. So you won't be able to see my face, but you don't want to. So right now I'm going to go straight to a diamond stone. I've got, and it doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to throw my trend plate up here. This is 300 on the back and 1,000 on the other side. I'm going to go to the 300 side. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going to go to the 1,000 side just to take the burr off the back, because what you have to do is you have to sharpen to a burr. So as long as there's a burr on the back side right now, I don't know if I've gotten to the edge. So I'm going to take that off first. Now, if you use the ruler trick or whatever, I think that's great. You don't need to. You can simply, you know, this iron is really a repair job, and it does have a slight back bevel on it. So you can just pick it up slightly and hone the edge. You're not hurting anything. You're not really removing any material. All I'm doing is taking the burr off, which I just did. There's no law that says that the backside of this iron has to be perfectly flat. Okay, it has to be polished, yes, but not perfectly flat. So now my burr's around to the front side. Now I'm going to attack the bevel here on the 300 until I pull a burr. Hold hopefully, I'm going to try and stay out of your way, but you can do this a million different ways. I'm going to register it on the bevel, and I'm going to make circles. I've already got a burr across 90% of it. I'm almost there. I don't want to spend too much time on this 300 side. All I want to do is sharpen it to the edge. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I feather off the side so I get pressure on my pinky right now. And then pressure on the other edge. Make sure I feather off my sides. I've got a burr all the way across, so I'm done on this grit. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to use the 1000 side. You can do this on stones if you want to. It's no big deal. Either way, I have stones every grit on the face of the planet. Just taking my burr off and clean on the back. Now I'm going to go on the 1000 side, and you can do this. Guys, you can do this with one hand if you want. Okay, it's not hard. Just non-concentric circles. I've got a burr all over here. I don't have one here yet. So I'm going to just feather off that side. You don't want it to be straight across anyway. I just don't have a burr right here on that tip, so let's do that side. Or you can do it one hand and you can go and just lean over. Got a burr all the way across now, done on that grit. I'm going to take the burr off. All right, we're done with the 1000 grit stone. You could stop right here. This iron is ready to go back to work just the way it is. But I'm gonna, for the sake of this, I'm gonna take it a little bit further and polish it up. And they do have a funny little nick over here from the grinder. Damn it. All right, for the sake of not wanting to look at that, I've got a nick in the edge from the grinder. I'm gonna go a little bit harder at this. I've actually got more than one. I'm actually gonna back up, guys. I'm gonna apologize. I want to take those out. I don't have to, but I'm gonna go at this pretty hard here and just if you get lost, just refine the bevel again. It's almost gone. Where is it? It's right here. Just so I can show you a pretty bevel when I get done. If I had stayed on the tool rest and just grounded on the tool rest the whole time, I wouldn't have done that. Okay, now it's gone. That nick's gone, and I do have just one little nick here in the corner. And I'm going to take that off when I feather out that side. I'll feather the other side out. Just go a little bit harder on this side. Okay, I'm past it now. Okay, back to the 1000. I gotta take the burr off first. Always take the burr off, guys. One thing that if you watch Rob Kosman at all, one thing I disagree with Rob is there's one step in his sharpening process where he doesn't take the burr off, and you have to. Okay, it's gone. Let's pretty up this bevel. The one thing about non-concentric circles, like I'm doing now, is that when you're sharpening, if you go straight back and straight through like this, you're putting 1,000 grit scratches straight through your edge. If you use circles like I do, or, if you want to do, the other new thing is, figure eights like this. I like the circles because you're not putting scratches straight through the edge. And what circles will do is they'll make a stone that's 1,000 grit cut like a 4,000 grit. And they'll make a stone that's a 6,000 grit cut like a 10,000 grit. They cut completely different when you're doing circles like this. And they do going straight back and straight through. When you go straight back and straight through, they cut more like the grinder does. They'll cut lines through it like this. Like you can see the grinding lines here. You can see that I'm sharpening heavy on that side. I'm going to try and get a little heavier on the other side here. This is a big repair here. I'm trying not to turn this into a 40-minute video, so I'm trying to do this fast. The reason I just wiped that off is I could feel some grit on the stone. Just trying to even out my sharpening here. Back to one hand again. Find a part of the stone that's not worn out. Now I've got a burr all the way across the middle, but I've got this rolled off pretty good, so I need to do that feather on that side. Still not all the way to the corner. Do this side. Starting to pull a burr down here. Still don't have one on that corner yet. It's just okay. Get a burr all the way there. Get a burr all the way there. Take it off. Like I said before, this iron's ready to cut now. This iron will definitely shave hair now. So you can see that shaved me. Just on 1,000 grit stone, this iron just shaved me. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to polish up the edge. So let's go to, doesn't really matter which one I grab. This is 6,000 grit. Use this one to polish it up. When you get up into these grits, you're not removing material. All you're doing is honing the edge at this point. You can see it's starting to get shiny. Try to use the whole stone. Just starting to get a burr in the middle. See the polish on it now. One of the issues with finer grits is that they don't pull a big burr. So you really have to test for that burr to make sure you get to the burr on these grits. And I think this is where a lot of people fail at sharpening, is pulling a burr on the finer grits. And I'm going to make sure that I get to the edge. I think this stone might need to be flattened. It's got to burr all the way across now. Really going to polish that backside. Make sure I get all those 1000 grit marks out of it. So you can see the polish across the back there. Hopefully you can see the polish on the top. There's one little nick right there, but there's a nick right there from the grinder, but it's back from the edge. You can see the polish riding across it. This is very sharp now. Shave my arm perfectly clean, as you can see. It's very, very sharp now. And I think I'm going to do one more round on the top. Hopefully I didn't get any hair in my stone. Do one more round on the top and one more round on the back really quick. Not pushing down very hard, feathering off the sides. I'm lifting up very slightly when I do the backside. Very, very slightly, kind of like your ruler trick, but. So I have good polish on the back. This is not, this iron's been around the block too, so, you know, you can see some of how much I had to take off this to flatten the back. There's one little spot on the back over here. We want to keep, obviously, we want to keep the back on the stone so that we can make sure that the cap iron mates up to it. All right, so let's do this. Let me just hit it on the strop a couple times and we'll put it in the plane, see if we can plane a piece of wood. Obviously it's sharp. You can see that by it shaving. So stropping, some water off it. Stropping, just pretty much hold it down. This is a bare strop, there's nothing on it. Actually, I got a couple of nicks in the strop. I want to go follow them. That was 20. That's 15. That's 10. 10. 5. 3. So we are like a razor blade right now. I'm gonna move you over here. Hopefully I can't get you out of here. If I can get you out of here, move you over here. I'll put it back in the plane. We'll take a couple shavings with it. See my arm, shaved perfectly clean. No nicks, no blood. Not even coming off the diamond stone. I mean, I can feel the itchy spot where it came off the diamond stone and I shaved myself, but no blood. I'm gonna come up and kind of set it, you know, it's a jack plane, so not super close. Say something like, you can see how square I actually did that job, something like that. Hopefully that shows up. Maybe back a 30-second or so, 60, maybe a little more than 30 seconds. Let me grab a hammer so I can adjust this thing. Don't have one here. Grab a piece of wood, piece of wood. I'll grab a piece of, here's a piece of oak. You can see the grain direction's not consistent. Hardwood. I'll try to plane this downgrade as much as I can. It's not going to be perfect. There's a big knot on this side. There's a big knot on this side. Let's try it here. Really hard to see. This is going to be tough planing right here. This is not an easy piece of wood. In we go. I always like to drop it down on the wood. Set my wedge. Typically it's going to be set a little too far. No, it's actually not too bad. Move this over out of the way, see what you guys are looking at. Let's get you this view here. That's a good view. All right, so you can see big knot here. Don't know what the grain direction's like. And this might be set a little deep, so I might have to back it up, but let's try it. Yeah, it's set too deep. Wrapped into the getting a little bit of tear out. It would take a lot to chew this up. See, it's taking little whispers of shavings here. It's pretty sharp. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's see how we're cutting on the sides. So I'm pulling a shaving on the right, pulling a little bit more shaving on the left. Oops, a little deep there. How did that happen? How did I get so deep? This is obviously way back into the grain. Let's try it this way. Whoa, that really backed off. Iron's actually adjusting really easily. I took too much out. It was pretty square before. That's definitely back into the grain. Way back into the grain. Let me take a side shaving here. Go through the knot. You can tell by the way the shavings are coming out that it's a little bit off center. Hi, Kate. You can see it cutting right through this knot right here too, right? Right through that knot with no problem in oak. Such an amazing difference down grain than that other side. And once you get the surface trued up, you get a nice shaving. Let's back it off just a hair. Got rocky there. finish looks like. So we can get the light on it right. And that's not with the cap iron set too tight. I don't know if I can get the light on it right or not. And you can see the knot I was going through right there. You see the reflection. You can see the reflection from the bench, from that blue thing in the board. So yeah, that's how you repair an iron. Oops. Chew up this big flat surface here. I don't know if you can see on this piece at all the different grain directions there that's planing across in. And let's check this one out, see if we get reflection in this one. I didn't plane on it very long. Kind of see some reflection in it. But yeah, so that is how you repair a damaged iron. And it's exactly that easy. You don't need this setup to do it. Like I said, if I had stayed on the tool rest the whole time, normally I do them on the CBN wheel just because it does a neater job. It keeps the heat way down. That stone obviously has to be dressed. You could see that the sparks were dwindling coming off it. But if you stay on the tool rest the whole time, you know, you can take it off really nice and even and perfect. It does, when you do it freehand, it does tend to, you kind of have to pay attention to what you're doing. You should blue in between to make sure you're hitting in the right spots. But, holy crap, 53 minutes. So, yeah, that's it. Hope that made sense. Hope you learned something from it. So now this plane can go back in the till. Have a good night. Merry Christmas.